Let me be the first to congratulate you. You have found the special one and you cannot wait to pop the big question. So today I'll be going over the 10 tips you need to consider before asking the big question so that you can have the most perfect and magical engagement proposal. My name is Sophianwali and I'm an intimate event and surprise planner. I have helped lots of people plan the most amazing surprises, engagement inclusive. I love marriage proposals. It always feels so special and magical. I have helped lots of people propose to their significant other in the most unique way. It's important to note that proposals are not a one-size-fits-all. That being said, there are tips you have to take into consideration to help you have the most amazing proposal. So today we are going to be going over these 10 tips. So let's get right into it. The first tip I'll be sharing, pick the right woman. Yes, pick the right woman. I don't know, but this is the bedrock of every other thing we are going to be discussing right here. You have to pick the right woman. I mean, engagement, proposal, I'm going to be using these words interchangeably so that just follow me as I use these two words together. Now, proposals are a gateway to something that should last forever. So you don't really want to make a mistake. You want to really make sure that you get it right at the first instance, okay? So that being said, you have to make sure that you pick the right woman. Pick that woman that tick all the boxes that you want in a lady. Pick that lady that gives you butterflies. Pick that lady that you cannot stop thinking about even when you are going through the most hardest or trying time. Pick that lady that when you see her call coming, you feel this all smile. There is this happiness radiating from within your heart. Okay, so it's very, very important that you make the right choice before we even talk about every other tip. You have to make sure that you pick the right woman. Tip number 2, make sure the person you are dating is also dating you. I'm sorry. Trust me, I didn't want to start this video with violence. Honestly, I'm a very peaceful person. I'm a very peaceful person, but in the same way, I'm a realist. I like telling people the truth. Make sure the person you are dating is equally dating you. If I have to paraphrase, I would say make sure the person you are choosing is choosing you. I don't know if there's an English like that, but you get what I mean. Honestly, it sounds very funny, but this is actually more serious than it is. Okay, even the Bible says two cannot work together except there be agreement. Now we can understand that in this age and time, the dating pool has been completely messed up. Most times people are in a relationship with only themselves and you don't get to know. You only get to know when you are asking someone, would you marry me? And you hear stuff like, when did we talk about marriage? Did I tell you I want to marry you? A couple of times we've seen proposals gone wrong trending on social media, where when a guy is actually on his knee asking his supposed girlfriend to marry him, and most times we see the most awkward things happening. Some of these ladies get to slap the guy or even embarrass them in public and do some nasty things to them. Honestly, I'm not among the party that encourages lady to embarrass a guy. If you don't want someone's proposal, I feel like there is a mutual way to pass your message across without coming off as rude, disrespectful, embarrass the person in public and all of that, especially in public places. But then again, I wouldn't encourage you as the guy to go into something, to go asking a question that you are not, at least to an extent, sure of the answer you are going to get. So that is why I'm going to be dropping these tips, and I've really done my research. I feel like it's going to help to an extent for you to know where you are in in your relationship and know if it's really the right thing to do, asking this big question. Most times people think because we go out together, we go on a date, we go see the movie together on her birthday, you spend lavishly on her, celebrate her birthday, she comes to your house, cooks, cleans, and does, you guys literally feel you are dating, means the person wants to marry you. No, it doesn't always happen like that. So that is why I would advocate that you communicate in your relationship. Now, most times when proposals goes wrong, you begin to ask, what were they actually doing in the relationship? Were they not having conversation? Were they not talking? Because if you talk to someone, if you actually have real-time conversations, you are supposed to know where you are in the person's life. Some people just date for the fun of dating, even though ideally that's not what it should be. I feel like people date to get to know themselves for long term. Ideally, that's how it's supposed to be. But now people just date for the fun of it. They just want to they don't want to feel like they don't have someone in their life, so they just date, just for dating. Some people have other reasons why they are dating that is not necessarily for long term. So you have to be able to communicate with the person you are in a relationship or with, so that you will know where you are and know what the person wants before, even going to ask, will you marry me? You don't just wake up and plan a lavish proposal, surprise proposal, and then bring the person there and you are asking the person, will you marry me? You guys have not talked. You don't even know if she wants to marry a fair guy. I don't know why I'm using a fair guy, but you get what I mean. You don't just pop the question. You have to have conversations. There are things you should have talked about. You don't necessarily have to tell her everything, but there are some clues you get when you are having conversation that will let you know, okay, this person would want something long term with me. This person would want to spend forever with me. This person would want to marry me, before you go ahead and pop the big question. This will help you not to get disappointed. I actually know how it feels as a planner. I know the effort that goes into planning proposals, the money, the emotions, the expectations, a whole lot goes into planning proposals, and then at the end of the day you get a no. Honestly, it's actually very, very devastating. That is the reason why you have to make sure that you did your due diligence before even embarking on this journey. And then the bulk of this work is on you as the guy or man or the person asking the question, because you are the one asking the question, expecting a reply from the other end. So yeah, I'll be going over the tip number 3. But before I go over the tip number 3, I would really like to kindly ask you to please subscribe to this channel. Click on the subscription button and please turn on bell notification so that you'll be notified each time I drop a new video. So let me wait for you to subscribe. Have you subscribed? You have subscribed? Thank you very much. So let's go over to the third tips. The third tip to consider when planning to pop the big question would be timing. Timing is very, very important before you ask someone to marry you. Most times the lady you are in a relationship with might want to marry you, but at the moment where you want to propose, she's not in the right place to get married. Let me explain what I mean. Most times maybe she already has a time frame she has given herself, maybe an age bracket or things she wants to achieve. I believe that every human being have goals that they've set for themselves to achieve. So people like to achieve these goals before they go ahead and get married. So let's say, for instance, she just got admission into the university and you are bringing up marriage proposal. Maybe at the time she doesn't really want to get married at that time. It doesn't mean she doesn't want to be with you, but it's not the ideal time for her to get married. or maybe she just she's not in the right place emotionally or mentally to get married. So these are the things you need to discuss. These are the things you need to talk about. Make sure you communicate with the person you are in a relationship with. Get to know, is there a time frame she has given herself? Is there something she wants to achieve before wanting to get married? It's important you choose a timing that best works for the both of you, especially for the lady, because she's the one going to be giving you the answer anyway. So the bulk of the consideration should have her in the picture. Okay, so you have to find out, communicate with her, get to know all these things. Is there a time frame she has given herself? Is there something she wants to achieve or something she wants to finish up before she gets into before she wants to get into marriage? So this is very, very important. The fourth tip we'll be talking about is pick a date. You have to pick a date that you want for your proposal. That is, after you have considered the first, second, and the third tip, you have to pick a date. Now, it's important that you pick a date that is significant to both of you. Pick a date that is special. Aside from wedding dates, engagement or proposal dates are another kind of dates that ladies fantasize about. So you have to pick a date that would mean something for the both of you, a date that you can still remember even in years to come. Okay, now tips to consider: most people don't really like to be engaged on their birthday or Christmas Day or all those kind of dates. Now, this is where communication comes in. If you've talked with the person you're in a relationship with, you get to find out what they want. You cannot go and be picking maybe to propose to her on her birthday when she doesn't like that kind of thing. You get what I mean? So you have to get to find out what she wants, and it's most ideal to do things that she wants. She's going to be the one in the picture. She's going to be the one, giving out all the emotions. So you have to do things that would put her in a good place to appreciate whatever it is you have done for her, in a very, very joyful manner. Most times we see people getting engaged, maybe, or people proposing to their girlfriends in another person's wedding, or maybe they just finished their NYSC. You are proposing to them that day or their birthdays. These are actually nice. I'm not saying it's not nice, but be sure that the person you are in a relationship with wants something like this. If it's not what they like, you can pick a neutral day, to fix your proposals on dates that she would like. Imagine someone writing an exam and then you are fixing engagement on the day she's writing exam. After the exam, she's coming for engagement. Even though it's something good, but that's not what she might want. She's already stressed out and all of that. So you have to be very, very careful when you are picking a particular date for your proposal. And then, very importantly, make sure that the date you are picking has no negative occurrence to it. For example, let me say, picking a date, maybe the day she lost someone very special to her, or maybe a date that already have a bad memory for her. You wouldn't want to do something like that. You want to pick a date that is that has no negative memory. This way, it will be a new special day for you people to always remember and be happy about. The fifth tip would be ask permission from her father. It mustn't necessarily be her father, assuming her father is no longer maybe her father is no longer alive or in the picture, but this means that you should ask permission from whoever she respects. It might be her parents, her dad, her mom, her guardian, uncle, anybody she respects that would pose a problem in your engagement. Now remember that after proposal, you have to go do the traditional rite. So whether or not you make yourself known to the family, the family will still get in the picture when even after the engagement. So even if the ideal thing to do is to make sure you get their consent, even before proposing to their daughter. Now, you mustn't necessarily tell them the exact date that you are doing the proposal, but just let them know that you have these plans in motion. You want to propose to their daughter, so that they will know and give you their blessing and their consent. It actually shows how much you respect the parent, and how much you respect her, and how much of a trained person that you are. You might say, what if I go to ask to get the consent, or to ask for permission from her parents, and you were declined? Oh well, at least you asked and you knew what you were getting into early enough. Now, what this would help you do is, assuming you go and then you get declined, you would most times when people reject you, they have reasons why they rejected you. Now, there is this trend on social media just few weeks back. Someone was asking, can tribe make you not to marry the person you are in love with? And many people were saying yes. And I dropped a comment on that post. I was like, why would you even be in a relationship with someone you know you cannot marry? Now, this goes to tell you that people don't have the most important conversations in relationship. People just date and then they while away time. They don't ask crucial questions. They don't communicate. Now, if you know that there is a tribe you cannot marry from, you shouldn't even be in a relationship with them, with the person in the first place. Now, in some families, there are tribes that your family will not want you to marry from. I don't know how these things came about, but it still happens in this day and time. So it might be that maybe the family doesn't want this particular tribe and all of that. It actually helps you and saves you from all the stress that you would go through. Imagine after proposing to the person and your pictures and videos are already flying everywhere, and then you go back and you start having issues with the family, trying to put things in place. Now, these are things you should have settled even before doing the actual proposal. Now, the reason you ask for consent, most families, you go, they ask you, which tribe are you from, what do you do for a living, and all of that. You need to set the motion, you need to set everything straight. They need to get to know you. You would soon be their in-law, in quotes. Okay, so then you need to be sure that they want you. You need to be sure that you've ticked their boxes of what they want for their daughter. So that is why you have to go ask for consent. Now, if there are things they don't like, you might have to use that time and get to maybe explain yourself or make them understand, so that they can see you in a way that is befitting for their daughter. Okay, now, going to ask for consent. It's not that you wake up one day and you're like, let's go and ask your family for consent. No. Now, technology have made things very, very easy. You can just chip in. Let me say hi to your mom. Let me say hi to your auntie. You can even just casually ask for their number, and then when you get speaking with them, you can make you can make them know what you have in mind, that you've not done this yet, but you want to let them know, and you appreciate them keeping this private, and then get to hear what they will say. So when you sorted this and you know that, okay, they've known you and they've accepted you, they've accepted where you're coming from, what you do for a living, your personality as an individual, then everything is already, the ground is already smooth for you, to build on. So this is actually easier, and it's going to save you a lot of troubles in the future. The next tip to consider will be study the personality of the person you are dating. Now, you have to study the personality of the lady you want to propose to. Every other thing we are going to be discussing from now is going to depend on these particular tips. You need to know her likes and her dislikes. You need to know what makes her happy. You need to know what she likes. To know if she's an extrovert or an introvert. This would help you to know the type of proposal to plan for her. Now, assuming you are dating an introvert, someone that likes to stay indoors, away from people, she doesn't like people being in her faces and all of that, you cannot go and be proposing in a club. She doesn't like crowds. She just likes being on her own, being in her own space, enjoying her own moment. So you cannot go and be proposing to such kind of people in a club or those places that have lots of crowd, or you pack everybody to come and be watching her. I mean, she's not going to be comfortable, even though you will get a yes, probably, but then she's not going to be comfortable because that's not what she likes. Mostly introverts always like something very intimate, maybe probably just two of you, and maybe the person, a cameraman or a videographer to capture the moment for you. You need to study these things. These things will help you to know the kind of proposal to plan. Listen to the hints she drops when you could talk. Listen to the hints she drops when you maybe look at things. You can just casually get an engagement, maybe on Instagram or just somewhere, and then see what she has to say. Okay, if you are dating an extrovert, for instance, they are life of the party. They don't mind. These people are always outside, literally. They don't mind the crowd. They don't mind people being in their faces. So you have to study the person that you want to propose to and know what she likes. Now, the best way you can also get tips and know what she likes is to speak to maybe family and friends, maybe few family and friends. Get to know what kind of person is she, what does she like, what would be her ideal engagement, what would be her ideal engagement. Would she want something very loud? Would she want family and friends? Would she want people to be in her engagement? Would she want something very small and intimate? There are lots of engagement. There are different types of engagement that you can plan, but this will depend on the personality of the person. Okay, the next tip we'll be talking about is choosing the perfect ring. Now, in buying the perfect ring, you want to consider the 3X. You want to consider the style of the ring, the shape of the ring, and the size of the ring you are getting for her. And this is hugely dependent on her kind of personality. Now, for you to be able to get her size of ring, you should know the ring size she wears. So this is where doing this research before getting the ring comes to play. There are ways you can get to find out her ring size without her knowing. Remember, it's a surprise. You don't want to spill all the tea. You can get to find out casually from her friend. There is a way you can use one or two persons that is related or that is close to her to get her ring size in a subtle way that she's not going to find out. I think I might have to do a video sometime later showing how to be able to get her ring size without her knowing. So yeah, consider buying her a ring that is not too tight, because eventually she's going to be wearing this ring for a very long for a period of time, and most times she might add weight along the line. So you want to get her a ring that is relatively not too tight and not too you don't want a ring that when you're putting it in her finger is almost too tight to get into her finger, or a ring that is too loose that it literally falls off when she flips her hands. So you have to put this into consideration. Now you have to also consider the shape of the ring you are getting for her. Now, most times ladies have a way of giving out tips, giving out clues on what they want. If you listen to her, you know this would help you also know if you are getting the style of the ring you are getting her. You getting her a gold ring, diamond ring, or precious stones. I've actually met a lady that said she likes black ring. People like that like black ring or rings in those kind of colors, precious stones, emerald, and all of those things. So you have to be able to listen to her, listen to those clues they drop out at intervals to get to know what the kind of style of ring to get for her. So yeah, number 9 will be rehearse what to say. Yes, now most of the times during the proper engagement, when it's time to pop the big question, most times you see some guys that are literally out of words, and I can honestly understand. Now, that is the reason why you have to rehearse everything you have to say. Now, make sure that what you're saying is actually words that you mean. I would actually say that you should be sure that the things you are saying is coming straight from your heart, as much as you are rehearsing and practicing, to make sure you don't forget your lines. Make sure that what you are saying is also words that you mean with the most absolute emotions. Now, these are words that she's going to remember in years to come. Most times the videos will be there for her to still watch the video, play back and all of that. So you want to say words that you genuinely mean, okay? And you have to be sincere with your words. Now, that is the perfect time to tell her what she means to you, what your relationship means to you, the reason you have chosen her for this next phase of your lives, okay? And now remember that this is a new chapter for you, so it is very, very important that the words you say are words that mean something to the both of you. Practice, practice, practice. The truth is, no matter how much of an alpha man that you are, when it's that time to ask that question, you would find yourself being nervous. Most times, most people actually flop, and it's actually very, very understandable. That is the more reason why you have to practice. Now, even if you still find yourself, not getting your lines, even after how much you have practiced, is alright. You are still the most cutest. Yeah. So in case after all the practice, you still find yourself, missing words and not getting your lines or not knowing what to say, it's fine. It happens. So still find a way to put yourself in the moment and make sure you ask that question and be very, very sincere when you are asking it. Now, the last tip we have, our tip number 10 would be execute the plan. Of course, what is all these tips if you are not going to execute the plan after all? Now, in this tip number 10, this is where you have put everything under consideration. You've done your due diligence, you've picked your perfect lady, you've asked her parents' permission, you've studied her personality, you have picked a date, you have picked a location, you have bought the perfect ring and every other thing. You have practiced what you are going to say. So you go ahead and get a planner. This planner would help you, put all your plans in motion. The planner will help you set up a decor that would best suit the personality of the lady that you want to propose to, and the location that would best fit the kind of proposal that you want to do. So when everything is put in place on the said date, you would go on bended knees and you will say these words. We've been together for a while now. You have been seeing my channel. You have been seeing my video. Would you do me the honor of becoming one of my bestie? Can you subscribe to my YouTube channel and make me the happiest YouTuber? Yes! If you stick with me up to this extent, please don't forget to like, to comment, to share this video. Please kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on bell notifications so that you'll be notified each time I put out new video. Thank you so much for always watching my videos, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.